warm welcome from the pastor and congregation of St. Augustine's Church. Unfortunately, the Reverend Martha Clark has been recently bereaved herself and was unable to be the leader of this service. But as a friend and neighbour of this congregation is often here at the altar, I was only too glad to have the privilege of being able to be a leader in worship as we gather for this time of remembering and this time of solace. So I invite you to stand briefly as we bring ourselves into the presence of God. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. The eternal God is your dwelling place, and underneath are the everlasting arms. Let us pray. Loving God, we thank you for gathering us together, and we praise you for this opportunity to experience the solace of beautiful memories and the gift of commending the soul of the beloved Margaret Chambers into your gracious life. We ask that this time may be a hospitable time to everything that we are feeling. We will receive your hospitality as we feel grief and loss, but also the solace of tender memories that will last. We ask you to lift our spirits and bind us in one as we remember with gratitude the gift of this beautiful life. Amen. Please sit for the scripture readings. We're now going to hear tributes. And the first will be audio tributes from children and grandchildren who could not be here. And then there will be tributes from sisters and some friends.
My name is Nicole. I'm Margaret's daughter. My brother and I were born and raised in California, and we're still there with my brother with his son, and me with my son and my son's father. So we wanted to share some memories of our mother and our grandmother, and so we brought audio, so we'll be playing that now.
Every year on my birthday, my mom would remind me I was born at 4:30 in the morning. Being the firstborn, I had 2 years before my sister Nicole came along to share our mom's attention. Somewhere among the many letters she saved was a letter she typed out where I expressed that I was not happy to be having a baby sister and I wished to take her back to the hospital. I have no recollection of this, but if I was able to articulate something that complex, it just shows how much both our mom and dad spoke to us and helped us develop our language skills. Our mom was always an educator in her everyday life, from encouraging us to read at an early age, to helping us in our classrooms or even in Sunday school at our church. And everything she did, she tried to make it a teachable moment. She always encouraged us in school, but by the time I got to high school, I really didn't care or put much effort into my studies. Having my own son so young shifted my focus at the end of high school towards working instead of college. When Dominic was born and our mom became a grandmother, she was nothing but supportive of her young son being a father. She continued her traditions of education by always buying Dominic books instead of toys, using every moment she spent with him to teach him about the world. She never stopped teaching us her whole life. When I decided to go back to college in my 30s, I had my mom help me edit my longer papers and assignments. When I decided to pursue a master's degree, she encouraged and helped me, even after some ups and downs in my personal life and losing our father. She wouldn't let me quit until I submitted my thesis and earned my degree 5 years after I started the program. School for me was a long, drawn-out journey, but if it wasn't for the foundations that our mom laid down, the support she gave me when I returned to college, I never would have ended up where I am now, the education that I have today. They say a mother's work is never done, but I think our mom did her part. The lessons and values she taught us resulted in 2 unique and talented children and 2 incredible grandsons who have yet to make their mark on the world. There's a part of her in all 4 of us, and her legacy will continue with each generation. Thank you for everything, Mom. I love you.
Our parents give us life, and often our grandparents give us a sense of self. This was certainly true for my grandmother, Margaret. More than anyone in my life, gave me that gift of critical thinking. Desire for knowledge she instilled in me at a young age, without a doubt shaped who I am today, and has served as a guiding post throughout life's journey. Though she may be gone from this world, parts of who she was will live on forever, immortalized. Mother, grandmother, and a lifelong educator, the way she touched our lives will live on through us and carry on beyond us. In an onerous world, I often think of my grandparents' living legacy, and within that, I find a source of strength. Grammy had a kindness and a love inside her that will carry on with me for all of my life. I love you so much, in this life and the next. Dominic.
My name is Justin Iglesias, and I love my grandmother very much. I would like to share a letter I wrote her in February before she passed away. Dear Grandma, I love you very much. Thank you for being the best grandma ever. I love spending time with you, and here are some of my memories with you. One memory I have is the United States puzzle that we did together when I was little. I remember putting the states in their spots, and this helped me greatly in geography. Another memory I have is playing Uno with you. Uno is one of my favorite games now, and I greatly enjoyed playing with you. I also remember going to the Capitol in Washington, D.C. with you. I like the Capitol a lot, and because of you, I learned more about it. A recent memory I have is going to see A Christmas Carol with you this last November. That play was great, and I really enjoyed it. I remember when we had to go outside in the middle of the play because of the smoke in the play that set off the fire alarm. Boy, that was an adventure. I also loved the Ford Theater. It was amazing. All in all, I just wanted to say I love you and thank you for being such an amazing grandmother. Love, Justin.
Hi, my name is Michael Iglesias, and Margaret is my mother-in-law. I met Margaret when I was 18, and even though I was a few years older than her daughter Nicole, she was very nice to me and always supported my and Nicole's relationship from the very beginning. I lost my mother in 2001, and Margaret sent me a very nice card with kind words of support. Since then, I have always looked to her as a mother figure in my life. Throughout the years, she has been a good friend and a loving mother figure, and most of all, an amazing grandmother. One thing I remember most is that whenever she asked me how my family was doing or how my business was going, she was genuinely interested. She would give advice, but more importantly, you knew that she was interested and listening. Margaret, I will miss many things about you, but especially your cranberry tip top that you would make especially for me around Thanksgiving because you know I loved it so much. I love you and I miss you very much.
My name is Nicole Collins, and I am Margaret's daughter. I really don't know where to start because there is no easy way to sum up my relationship with my mom, and there would never be enough time to say all of the things I would want to say. My mom was so important to me. We talked on the phone nearly every day, sometimes multiple times a day, but never less than a few times a week. I called her for everything, advice, to complain to her or about her, to update her on her grandson, and anything else you can think of. I miss that every day now. I had a really cool childhood. My mom was the absolute greatest with kids. She prepared the coolest birthday parties, like my 1950s sock hop party, where we bobbed for apples and danced to 50s music, my brother's Pirates scavenger hunt party, where all the kids ran all over the neighborhood from clue to clue until they ended up back in our backyard to find the gold foil covered chocolate coins in a treasure chest. My favorite was my Cinderella party. It was magical for a kid. I remember that she made me the prettiest Cinderella dress and put my hair up in a bun. I was amazed that she somehow found a plastic stagecoach and horses that my brother and the next door neighbor kid sat on as our drivers. And each girl at the party got a Polaroid picture sitting in the stagecoach. It was so cool. I remember talking to my mom about that party in recent years. We had a great laugh together when she informed me that it was not a plastic stagecoach and horses, as I so clearly remembered, but instead it was Richard's old rocking horse from the garage, the patio umbrella turned sideways on the ground, and a bench from the patio furniture underneath it. Like I said, it was magical. She had a way of making everything amazing when we were kids. We traveled a lot because our family was mainly back east and in Iowa, and with my parents being in education, they had summers off and long breaks during the holidays. I definitely got my love for travel from her. She was also extremely handy. She fixed things at home all of the time. She would even take me up on the roof with her to patch the roof or make sure things were looking okay up there. I got that from her too. We would joke about it because the story goes, when she was pregnant with me, they had a new dog, and the dog needed a doghouse. So apparently she bought a kit to build the doghouse, built it, and then went to the hospital to have me that very same day. So we just figured I was learning while in utero. My mom took me to my first civil rights protest at an early age, to another one with one of my classmates when we were in 6th grade. She also took me to my first concert when I was a 6th grader as well. What a great mom to suffer through a punk rock show with her preteen daughter and her 2 little preteen friends. I left home for college at 17 and have been on my own ever since. My parents moved back east when I was 19, but returned to California about 2 years before I got married at 27. 3 years later, I had my little boy, and my mom was by my side through my entire pregnancy. I was very sick, and she took such great care of me. It was my mom and my husband in the delivery room with me. They were the first 2 people to lay eyes on my baby, her beautiful grandson, Justin Michael. My parents lived next door to us at that time, and my mom was just as much a part of Justin's life as his father and I were. My parents saw him every day. She always played educational games with him, loved him up, read to him, cuddled him. I credit her for so much of his early development and his smarts. He was so lucky to have her and my dad right next door. My dad passed when Justin was 3.5, and my mom moved back to Virginia when he was 5.5. He is now 12 years old, but they remained close through visits and phone calls. The relationship I had with my beautiful mother wasn't always easy and it wasn't perfect, but I am beyond grateful for it. I am so lucky to have known her, so lucky to have learned so many lessons from her, so lucky to have had a mother who was an activist, an entrepreneur, a strong and opinionated woman. She was an example for many things. There was nothing I wouldn't do for her, though sometimes I was reluctant about doing some of them. But the truth is, I love her very much and am heartbroken that I cannot see her anymore in this lifetime. But I know that she is with me now all of the time, and I know she is free, she is happy, and she is limitless now. In closing, I'd like to share a quote that holds a special connection for me to my mother. Just when the caterpillar thought the world was over, it became a butterfly.
In 1938, our parents, Bridget and Margaret Chambers, were blessed with their firstborn, Margaret. 18 months later, they were blessed with another daughter, Alice Jean, who's sitting here with us. And then after the Second World War, they got busy and had more family at that point in time. And I came along, I'm number 3, Mary Dorothy, and Susan Elizabeth, the surprise baby, was here. So we're each in our own way going to pay tribute to Margaret Ann. And one of the important parts of our family and growing up was the music. And not only were both of our parents musical and sang, they both played the piano, but of course we all also were very much involved in the church choir and playing. So one of the reasons that we had now Jean's granddaughters playing at the beginning, as well as some other piano music, it's just, these are sounds of home. These are the sounds we grew up with. Also, our father was a great member of the symphony orchestra, and so was Margaret Ann, and that's what we're going to play in the postlude. Right now, we're going to hear a song sung with Jean's beautiful voice. Jean's granddaughter Tess has written a poem honoring her, and she will now read.
My poem is called She. She is fashionable, kind, loving, beautiful, nice, giving, smart, strong, and look very big. As her glowing face lights up with a smile, I know the memories that I never forgotten again. She is a prison of passion that does not end. Her beauty is both inside and out. She loves everyone like a family. She's strong with challenges ahead. She's as smart as an elephant, as beautiful as a bird, as strong as a turtle, as loving as a wolf in a pack, and she makes her world shine.
So I was thinking about what I wanted to say today. I realized that other than Jean, I knew Margaret Ann the longest, for 70 plus years. And there's so much I could talk to all of you about. My sister Margaret, who I always actually call Ann, so her mother's name was Margaret. We refer to her as I'm growing up as Ann, and she's always been Ann to me, which sometimes confusing. But she was a challenging older sister. She was, when I was born, she was 10 and a half years old, and our mother was very busy, and she actually delegated a lot of the mothering to my sister, for me, which I came to resent early on. But at the same time, she was very much in that time the person that so many people are speaking about in terms of being loving and creative and inventive. And one of in her later years, one of her professional relationships, which she treasured a great deal, was with an inventor by the name of Doug Engelbart, who some of you may know. He was the inventor really of the mouse, but also the graphical user interface for computers. And he has passed away, but she kept in touch with him, and she was very much involved in some of the later work that they did in terms of event planning and so forth. I have a lovely note from his daughter, which reminded me maybe the single thing I really want to say about my sister when I think about trying to encapsulate all the things that she was. We're all very familiar with the word inventor, which Doug Engelbart certainly was an inventor. But when I think of my sister Margaret Ann, she becomes, in my mind, the eventor. She organized so many things. She, from these early days, I remember just being terribly impressed when, still in high school, she organized the junior-senior prom, and they turned a church gymnasium into an evening in Paris, which she probably remembers a lot more detail about it. But she was just inspired in terms of what she would do, and she loved to work with people, and really made her mark in this life, both from our family days and later on as an eventer. I will miss her terribly. Many of you know, probably all of you know, that I was privileged, honored, and heavily weighed down by taking care of her in the last days of her life. But it was wonderful. It's hard when you lose one of your generation. We'll miss her terribly.
My sisters mothered me, taught me, sang to me, put up with my temper tantrums, fought with me, and loved me unconditionally. I am blessed to have them in my life. Margaret Ann's favorite flower were irises, a love she inherited from our mother. In recent years, she gifted her sisters, her daughter, and her nieces with iris for our gardens. On the back of your program is one from my garden. Iris are beautiful and glamorous, like Anne, who had great cheekbones and often sewed her own clothes from Vogue patterns. She was always put together, accessorized with scarves and unique jewelry. Iris are often tall. Anne was the tallest among us until recent years, when I took over that position, much to her dismay. Iris had unique names like Destination Fabulous, a favorite of hers in my garden. She traveled abroad extensively and was thrilled that I will have the opportunity to go to China this summer. I will take one of her many papers with me. One she wrote the year I was born about the Great Wall of China, and I plan to tear it into little pieces and let it float down the Yangtze River. Iris is strong and hardy like Anne, who climbed the Grand Teton Mountains in her younger years and bounced back from double knee surgery a couple years ago. Iris are detailed in structure, and Anne could remember details in an amazing and often tedious way, not only relating the full name of people she met at numerous conferences, but the titles of the book they wrote and what they ate for dinner. Irises are delicate, and while Anne exuded poise, often during late night talks, she opened up and shared her vulnerabilities and fears with me. I want to say to her that she was worthy. Irises range in color from purple to violet to blue to green to yellow to orange and burgundy. The name is derived from the Greek word for rainbow. You would love that detail. When I was in 7th grade, Anne sent me a very cool, totally hip, orange wool dress with olive green and black and white houndstooth trim. I adored it, and I looked awful in it. Orange made me look sick, which I later confirmed years when we all, the sisters, had their colors done together. We were all hot pink rather than orange people. 2 years ago, Anne visited me in Iowa. She supervised while I replanted the largest iris bed, arranging them by height and color. She could be bossy and directive, but we worked easily together that day. This spring, the iris will surround me with her love, encouraging me to live my life to my fullest. Her gifts to me are too many to name. I carry her always in my heart.
A number of people are wearing purples and reds and jewel colors, remembering, as Susan mentioned, Margaret's wonderful love of color, and always Margaret being totally well put together. And of course, we haven't been able to replicate her gorgeous auburn red hair and how it turned stunningly to white. Now they're all a little closer to the white. I knew Margaret, I originally met Margaret back in 1970, and I worked with her at the Teacher Corps. So I'm going to say a few things about the Teacher Corps and Margaret's real turning point in her life, both personally and professionally. I'm sure each of us has our own words to describe Margaret. For me, it's courage and determination. For the way she lived her life and the way she met her cancer diagnosis. In the late 1960s, Margaret was part of the original leadership group of the National Teacher Corps. And sadly, she is the final person who has left us from that phenomenal group of people. And she was, to my knowledge, the only one. In 1971, Margaret left the national office to marry Paul, who was then the director of the local Teacher Corps project in Hartford, Connecticut. Now, at that time, Margaret was the director of the programs branch and sort of his boss at the national level. And I'm going to take a couple minutes to, forgive me for those of you that already know the story, but Margaret told me a month ago how she and Paul met. How many people know the story of how they met? Well, it happened unsurprisingly at a Teacher Corps conference. And there were two escalators, one going up and one going down. And she was on one. I've forgotten who was on which. Do you know? Okay. You can correct me if I miss something. So she was on one and he was on the other. And he saw her. And he said, "How are you? Hello, how are you?" And she smiled brightly and she said, "I'm fine." And he said, "You sure are." And then we know the rest. She and Paul, after they were married, Margaret went to Hartford, and she and Paul continued to work for the Teacher Corps at the local level in Hartford and then later in Hayward, California. I came to Teacher Corps in 1970, so I only spent 1 year with her, and she was my boss. While we worked together only for a year, we remained friends and saw each other whenever we were in the same city together. In December, I was blessed to have a good, long, heart-to-heart talk time lunch with her. And then, even then, she was beautiful and vibrant and filled with ideas, even though she was in the midst of very tough cancer treatment. We spent time remembering so many of the wonderful folks all around the country who worked with the Teacher Corps in those first 2 years. 10 years, sorry, first 10 years. I'm sure it wouldn't surprise anyone here to learn that Margaret was the smartest kid on the block back in those early days of Teacher Corps, and that her thinking was way ahead of her colleagues. Now that was often an issue, especially with some of the men she worked with. Women were not so much in leadership positions back then, and they certainly were not as vocal and forthright as Margaret. Fortunately, her boss, Dick Graham, who was the original Teacher Corps director, respected her chutzpah and supported both her ideas and her work. For me, it was a huge privilege to work with both Margaret and Dick, and my experience in that year guided the next several years of working with the Teacher Corps and far beyond. At that time, I'm telling you this because Margaret asked me to. At that time, Teacher Corps was introducing to the country a new approach to teacher training, which was called competency-based teacher education. It's a concept that is still being worked at and worked on almost 50 years later. It was revolutionary at the time, based on a collaboration between school systems, their communities, colleges of education, and teaching interns who became certified teachers of underserved populations. Margaret was the champion of competency-based teacher education and portal schools, which were the part related to schools. And working with her on those important ideas resulted in my own commitment to the power of collaboration, not only in education, but in many other things. There was a time of great change in education, and as we all know, change is very challenging. And while it was tough at times, Margaret always thrived on challenge. And as we know, met many throughout her life. There are so many things I learned from her, especially to believe in and stand up for myself, particularly at times when others might feel it was not my place. She was a great model. I cherished our friendship, and even though there were long spaces between our time together, we were always able to pick happening in our lives. In closing, I'd like to read a quote by Dick Graham, the director of the Teacher Corps, from 1975. And it's one that I want to read it because I know that Margaret, with her courage and determination, would agree totally with it. And I believe she totally represented it. It is then with some pleasure that we mark the 10th anniversary of Teacher Corps. It reminds us, in a time of doubt, of the goodwill that resides in this nation, the readiness of youth to be called upon, the willingness of many to put aside racism and faction, a traditional receptivity to something new, and a tendency to judge it fairly. The spirit to do for one another and to sum up one's best in behalf of the common good. The Teacher Corps reminds us that we have of late dwelt on the darker side of our national character. I take heart that the Teacher Corps and programs like it can help to make what is good in us more assured. This was Margaret's belief as well, I think. And she certainly, with her indomitable spirit, expressed it in the way she lived her life. I have been so enriched to have been part of it. Well, thanks, Margaret.
I'm Maria Fine, and I met Margaret through Lucia. Lucia and I both shared a house on Capitol Hill, and there would be times when Margaret would come over, and I got to meet her that way. Also, as a part-time consultant for the Teacher Corps, I often got to meet and work with Margaret. I was very impressed to see a woman in her mid-30s hold her own so wonderfully, so brilliantly. I remember how, when I told her years later that I was so impressed with the fact that she was able to sit in meetings with all the events and managing budgets that were millions of dollars. And she looked at me and she said, yes. It was like sitting down at a table. She said, now we have some money to spend. And it was just wonderful to see how confident, how brilliant she was in her professional life. I got to know her personally years later, after the time that Paul passed. I went to the funeral service, which was right here. And it was after that that the two of us got together. I had her come over to my house for drinks at about 5 o'clock. At about 10:30, we said, you know, we should continue this at another time on more occasions. We already had so much in common. First of all, we married men that were 20 plus years older than we were. We were both PKs, preacher's kids. My father was a Lutheran pastor, hers was a Presbyterian minister. And both of us had parents that were very liberal in their political outlook. So it's no surprise that she and I would go to the various marches. I remember Mary came one time, along with Margaret, because of the traffic. They came a day early. They bumped down with me in my home, and we walked from my place at Southwest up to the Capitol. We got as far as the Air and Space Museum because the crowds of people, maybe 500,000, they said, were all pressed in on us. But it was a wonderful occasion. There was another time that I also went on another march with her, the March of Life. We shared so many different interests and hobbies. One of them was writing. I was working on a book, as was she, and she gave me wonderful suggestions on ways to approach my writing. We also went to many concerts and plays. I was at the Virginia Chamber Orchestra as a board member and was thinking of bringing her in to one of the concerts. And who should I find during intermission but Margaret? There she was. She had brought together people from Hunters Park, where she was staying, They were able to come through a foundation that provided for the tickets and the transportation, and she brought maybe 2 or 3 people each time. In addition to that, there were many plays that we went to. I remember just the last year or 2, we got to see 19, which is about the right to vote for women. And she was so determined to see the second part. This was after she knew that she'd been diagnosed with cancer. And so I made it a point to say, okay, it's coming up January 12th, 19. And I was so delighted to see she was so beautifully dressed, as she always was, with a wonderful turban and her colors, and of course purple, which is of course the color I'm wearing as well, in honor of her. And there were many other plays that we went to that she suggested, very notably the one that was called The Secrets of the Universe, about Albert Einstein, who had hosted Marian Anderson in his home because there was no place for her to stay because of the segregation laws in New Jersey. And so it was an imagined conversation, what went on between Marian Anderson and Einstein. And in the final days, I was just so impressed with the gallant spirit that Margaret had. She just told me that she wanted to be able to do and see as many things as possible. So she is a dear and wonderful friend that I admired and loved.
You would know the secret of death, but how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The hour whose night-bound eyes are blind unto the day cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life, for life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. In the depths of your hopes and desires lies your secret knowledge of the beyond. And like seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust the dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. And what is to cease breathing but to free the breath from its restless tides, that it may rise and expand and seek God unhindered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you reach the mountaintop, you shall then begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then shall you truly dance.
I give you this one thought to keep. I am with you still. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on the snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift, uplifting rush of quiet birds in circle flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not think of me as gone. I am with you still in each new dawn.
Let us now stand to sing our hymn, O Love That Will Not Let Me Go. experience we are having is rather like being on a seashore. We've stood on the solid ground of cherished memories, but the ocean is also in front of us, an ocean of mystery that we call God, God in 1,000 names. And now comes the point when each of us must let Margaret go in order to make her own way into that ocean of mystery, where we too will be joining her. And so in the moment of committal, the simplest image is a boat that needs a little push from everyone to leave the shore. And so in a prayer of committal and the blessing that we're now going to address to her soul and spirit, it's as if each one of us can lay a hand on the boat to give a gentle pushing out into the stream, where we believe the tide of God's love and endless mercy is waiting to carry her into his heart. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.
Amen.
I'm going to invite you now to sit for a moment as we hear the musical postlude, and then after a moment we will begin to make our way out to the procession where we can greet and have conversation. Let us sit for a moment.
So thank you very much to the Extenders for helping us get that organized, and it's great to see so many of you here, and that's going to be a wonderful home for her, and she enjoyed very much living there